Good afternoon and welcome to the Pigskin Report on 1039 98.5 mypigradio.com, brought to you by Investment Housing and Texarkana Game Day. I'm John Williams, and speaking of Texarkana Game Day, Morgan Smith is here with me. How you doing today, Morgan?
Good, brother. How are you?
I'm good, ready for the playoffs.
I am too.
But before we talk about the playoffs, let's look back at a little bit about what happened last week with the Texarkana High School football teams. Of course, Pleasant Grove had their bye week, which they already had set in for the very last regular season game, and that worked out well again for Coach
they needed it
Gibson.
bad.
Yeah, they had a lot of injuries to heal up from, and plus it's good to have a 2-week cushion going into the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
So they were off. As we know, Liberty ILO fell to Gilmer at home on their senior night. There's not a lot to say about it. I mean, it was the end of what has been a challenging season for the Leopards under the first-year coach Clint King. But, you know, as we mentioned before, he came in late to get that. They hired him because of the situation where the former coach resigned. And so he didn't have a lot of time. You need a lot of time in the first year, and they had a lot of adversity. It was just a tough season, but the future is definitely bright for Liberty Island.
Yeah. Don't look into this season at all. Mm-hmm. You know, they'll be good going forward. He just didn't have enough time to implement everything he wanted to do, and sometimes you can have a couple great horses, but you need 22 of them.
That's
you
right.
know.
You're right, and you combine the fact that he'll have the time this time to really get his program going, and then the fact that we've seen them in action. The younger grades for Liberty ILO have a lot of talent.
Oh,
coming up.
Yeah, he's got a lot coming up.
Yeah, so
there's state championship potential in his future.
They have got some good kids, good athletic kids that are coming up, and him getting in there, I look for him to win a lot more games next year already. And the future years look good at Liberty ILO. So that ended their season last week against Gilmer. Arkansas High last week. Now, as we talked about, DeQueen just didn't put up much of a fight, and we knew that was probably going to be the case. It's just too many athletes at Arkansas High, and they rolled to a 45-6 victory. And Braylon Bishop and Tory Blair combined for about 150 yards rushing. And they were already up 38-0 at halftime, and then the mercy rule kicked in where the clock runs. And so really all they were doing was waiting to see would Hot Springs Lakeside beat Hot Springs, and that would give them that home playoff game that we've been talking about. And sure enough, that did happen as Lakeside beat the Trojans in their big rivalry game, 27-14. So Coach Barry Norton got the victory he needed, and he's happy to be at home this week.
I imagine he is.
It's always good to be there.
And look for big things from them tonight. I think they walk away with another done.
Now we're going to talk about their game coming up in the second half. And then, of course, you were there, and I was there for a little. I'll admit, I left after halftime because Texas High was so far ahead.
Yeah.
And it was so cold.
Yeah, if I'm being 100% truthful, I went off and sat in the truck for a little bit during the third quarter, put some social media stuff together.
They were running away with it.
Oh, yeah, game was over.
I mean, the game really was over, before they even got to the
I handed
first
cameras
half.
to everybody, and I was like, y'all be sure y'all don't miss any good plays. I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, senior night against West Mesquite. I mean, they just they ran over them from the beginning. Tracy Cooper was running at will.
Yeah.
And then Ryan Sellers with the big passes. Boy, there was no answer.
Yeah, they look really good.
I mean, there was no answer.
They may be the best 4 seed in the state of Texas.
I know. So they clobbered West Mesquite 41-14 at home on senior night, and Sellers threw for almost 200 yards.
I mean, everybody looks at that quarterback stats. I'm telling you right now, Kobe Webster is a man.
Yes,
and he has a real chance to play in the NFL. I mean, the more I've watched him, and you stand beside this guy, and I mean, he has an NFL frame on him. He's going to go play at University of Memphis, which churns out NFL receivers. You might see that kid playing on Sunday, but everybody talks about how the quarterback throws the ball. Some of those, Kobe just went and got.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, he's quite a bit taller than the secondary.
Well,
defender.
the thing with Kobe is he's always open. Yeah. I mean, it's almost like I don't even know why you look anywhere else. I mean, he is always open.
It's kind of one of those things you could do it all night until they can stop it, and they can't stop it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a big night for Texas High on senior night. The defense smothered. What was it? You could tell they had talent, the other team, the Wranglers is what they were called. They had talent, but they made a lot of mistakes.
And they have a D1 running back on the University of Texas. They have a 5-star offensive lineman. And on paper, I just don't know how. It's hard. Is Texas High that good, or are they that bad? But
Well,
on paper, I don't know
combination.
how they are that bad. If that's
Yeah.
the case,
But they just made a lot of mistakes.
you saw them. You were on the field with them. These are grown men
guys.
playing high school ball. I mean, they're like, why are y'all not good at football?
Too many miscues.
And your running backs going to University of Texas. Like, come on. You hear that? You're just like, all right, well, let's see what happens.
But the fun part was, and I admit I'd already left in the third quarter, but you were there to the end. Of course, you had the post game with the coach and the players and all that. But they had to wait after their victory because there was the situation with John Tyler playing Sherman, and either Tyler needed to beat Sherman or Sherman needed to win by 10 points or less and all that kind of stuff. And they had to wait to see if Sherman was going to win by the correct amount of points.
Well, if John Tyler won, it was over.
Yeah.
So Sherman couldn't win by more than 10.
Yeah.
So Sherman's driving late, 8 seconds, or let's say, 8 seconds left. They're on their 8-yard line, looking to score. And if they score, Texas High is out.
And they're in.
We talk about big moments. That's things we like to cover. It's definitely a top, if not the top moment. It's top 2.
Yeah.
That's for sure. It was great. It was great seeing it. It erupted in that place when it was announced. You're in the playoffs.
Well, fortunately, it worked out for the Tigers, as they only won by 5 points. Did Sherman? So that was not enough. So Texas High in, Sherman.
John Tyler won.
Did they? I thought Sherman won that by 5
No,
points.
John Tyler won. John Tyler's in the playoffs.
I know, but Sherman won that game by 5 because you remember you were saying that if they went in and scored that they would have got it up to 12 and they would have been in.
Am I wrong?
I think you're wrong.
Okay. Well, first time took all the way to November to get me be wrong on something.
Because if Tyler was ahead, it wouldn't have mattered whether Sherman scored or not because they had to win by more than 10 points. So it was 32-27
right.
Sherman in the victory there.
I'll have my guy edit that out.
Okay. Coach Stanford, of course, we know him and we get to deal with him a lot. He's a great guy. But he's a great guy more than just on the field. He's one of those coaches that really, 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 you can tell it, cares about his young men as not only athletes, but individuals and students as well. So, good guy.
Yeah, Coach Stanford's one of my favorite people in the city. I've gained a relationship with all these head coaches. I respect all of them the same. I like them all in a different way, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
they all have things that they all have different strong points, and
Right.
they're all dealing with different things. You know what may be something Coach Gibson has to deal with at Pleasant Grove is not what Coach Norton deals with at Arkansas High, and vice versa. And what's going on in LE is not the same at Texas High.
Right.
So I learned this year these high school coaches, they aren't plug and play. Not every coach is going to fit a particular system.
Sure.
And the athletes that are in that system. And what I have learned about all these coaches is they really care about these kids. And learned a lot this year where, when you're on the outside, you really just look at wins and losses. But here's what I've learned. It's you have to win, but that's not what it's about, man. They're building our future leaders in this community. And you can go as small as a little league player getting to talk to a head coach in a football program. They're spending their time going out there, which I saw in New Boston last week. These head coaches at these small schools interacting with kids. They're starting that young, all the way up to, like you mentioned, a Coach Stanford, who I was in his office last night at 7:45 at night, and he has kids in there.
Yeah.
I don't know where these kids went when I left, but he was the only one there. So I'm assuming he's taking them home, and
Probably.
he's sitting there doing homework and this and that.
Yeah,
So he's
You're a lot more than just a coach.
Oh, yeah.
It's totally different from what it used to be years ago.
I get upset at some of these fans in there. I mean, I like just really upset when I hear someone screaming at a coach from the stands. And I'm not talking about Coach Stanford, just in general. I mean, I've heard it. Everybody who's been to a high school football game has.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be a coach on Friday night. It's just the truth.
Right.
Everybody wants to question, why did they run a sweep play when they needed half a yard, run a quarter, whatever, But from knowing all the work that goes into this now, it's very disrespectful to me to hear people yelling at a coach from the stands. You got coaches' kids on the sidelines. Like, what is wrong with you?
Oh, I know. It's kind of
You know what I mean? If you're the person that's doing that, you need to check yourself.
Well, either don't do it or just don't go to the game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is, what are you teaching these kids? Like, they're raising your kids,
They are.
outside of your home.
Yeah.
That's where they're learning. So, hey, if you want to make a difference, ask. Screaming from the stands is not.
It's not going to.
No.
Yeah, and it, like I said, it is totally different from what it was when I was a kid or whatever. It is just completely different, and they do so much more than just X's and O's and coach.
Yeah.
And as far as the younger kids are concerned, back in the day when I was young, it was unheard of for the head football coach and athletic director at the varsity to go be down with the middle school students. And,
it never happened.
Never. Now,
man, they're spending so much time.
It happens all the time.
These coaches work so much.
Right.
I mean, I'm talking about so much, and I just see it because we have a pretty big platform for sports now, and social media is great, but it's also it can also be bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just hate to see it because I know the time they're spending, and it goes way beyond football. Everybody wants to win, but like at the end of the day, would you rather have a group of 20 young men going into our community that are good people, or would you rather have a 10-0 football team who 5 of them are gonna go on to do good things?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
You got it. It's much bigger than just being on.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of been building all season. And it's not just one place. I mean, we're seeing it when we go to these small schools. You're hearing this and that. It's like, hey, if you want to be a football coach, go back to school, get your degree in whatever it's going to be that'll get you in there and be a football coach.
You start out and
let's don't coach from the stands.
See how you do. But anyway, that's what happened last week. Now, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about the 3 games that are going on tonight across the area. You're listening to the Pigskin Report on 103.9 98.5 My Pig Radio, brought to you by Investment Housing and Texas County Game Day. And we're back on the Pigskin Report, 103.9 98.5mypigradio.com, brought to you by Investment Housing and Texas County Game Day. I'm John Williams, alongside from Texas County Game Day, Morgan Smith. And Morgan, where are y'all going to be tonight? Pleasant Grove?
We'll be at Pleasant Grove.
Okay, we'll start with Pleasant Grove then. I kind of had them first on the list. They are getting to play at home tonight, and it is against Nevada Community, which I honestly am not familiar with. I know they're located just to the east of Dallas and north of Royce City. But Coach Gibson, excited, to say the least, to be able to be bringing a playoff game, the first ever football playoff game to Pleasant Grove. And you know how great it is to have home cooking.
Yeah. I know he was excited about it when he called and told me that they do have a home playoff game, Nevada County or Community, or what is it?
Nevada Community.
Nevada. They've had some tragic things happen to them the last couple of weeks. They had some students die in a car accident.
Yeah, 4 students got killed in an accident last week, I think it was.
Yeah, so hate to hear that for a team. They had a big win last week, but unfortunately for them, they're going to make a long trip down here to Pleasant Grove Stadium, and they can just hope the Dogs get called off quick.
Yeah, I don't see it staying too competitive too long, but it'll be exciting to be able to see the kids and all the activities that go along with it, the cheerleaders, the drill team, the band, one more time at home.
Home game, that's big time.
I mean, you follow these teams on the road, but it's nothing like playing at home.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing like playing at home in your own environment, your own place or whatever. And Coach Gibson said, as far as they're concerned, that other than a couple of players who are out for the season, Jackson Cobb, Connor Stanfield, I know for sure, they're 100% healthy for the first time, he said, since week 5 or something.
If he says so.
That's what he said.
Okay.
That's what he told me. But he said that they took that week off, and it really gave them
I know he needed help, man. They had some players that were banged up. Yeah. That's the reason I made that face, which you can't see on radio. Well, they were banged up. The good news is they're
much better.
They're much better, and they're not going to need them all for 4 quarters.
So that ought to be a pretty good victory for Pleasant Grove tonight. At least we hope so and think so. But go out and support the Hawks at home tonight. Meanwhile, Texas High has to take that trip down to Lufkin to take on the Panthers. And I know the Tigers are excited to be in the playoffs, but they are facing quite a challenge playing down in Lufkin against a team that the only loss all season was 3 points to the Empire down there, the Longview Lobos.
Yeah. Lufkin's got a good football team.
Yeah.
Texas High is, if not the best, they are one of the best 4 seeds in any division in the state of Texas. I would not personally want to see them as a 4 seed if I was a 1, because your kids think this is the UIL money game right here. Yeah. They added this game to make some extra money.
This is not your typical 4 seed.
I don't know how many 4 seeds would beat a 1 seed. I'm assuming it's had to have happened, but it couldn't be many times. But if there's ever been one who you need to be worried about, you do not like. I'm assuming they're going to go look at film and they're going to look at this West Mesquite game and they're going to be like, oh man, they look really good. Well, West Mesquite's not any good. Right. Maybe they'll say something like that, or they'll look at the district games and see, man, they weren't very good those 3 games. What they're not seeing is the guy that runs that offense wasn't there.
Yeah, right.
And they have not lost with him running the offense. I don't know if you know that or not.
I do.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think I really think it's going to be a competitive game, and I think it's going to be a lot closer than what maybe the pundits and Lufkin people may think it's going to be. I think they're going to give them a run.
It's going to be a fourth quarter game.
Yeah, and so good luck to the Tigers down there. Look, I look for good things out of Ryan Sellers and Tracy Cooper and the whole bunch down there tonight in Lufkin. And, of course, we'll end it with Arkansas High playing at home at Razorback Stadium against Maumelle. And the Maumelle is located up there around the Little Rock area. And, I talked with Coach Norton, and, of course, obviously he was, as well as Coach Gibson, ecstatic to be able to play at home. It's a big deal to be able to stay in your familiar routines and things like that. And the coach is excited about how they're playing at the end of the season. Do you realize that in the last couple of games they've scored almost 100 points?
And they've called it off early, too.
Yeah, they called the dogs off really, really early. Yeah. So they got it clicking. Braylon Bishop, for the most part, there was one game in there that was a rainy night against Hot Springs that he was kind of...
It was a 9-6 ball game.
Yeah,
that was a weather game.
But overall, if you look at the last half of the season, he has come on like gangbusters as far as the quarterbacking position is concerned, because it was all new to him. He's a baseball player. He has not played football up until now, and he got that touch that we talked about, and he has really come on strong.
Well, like I've said all season, I'm not betting against Barry Norton.
No, and Norton's got Tory Blair back there to run the ball.
Yeah.
And Bishop runs the ball, too, from that quarterback position. He scrambles and runs. And the defense with Larry Jefferson and crew, this ought to be a really, really, really good game. I look for it to be a tight game. Maumelle is a good football team. They've only lost a couple of games all season long. They are the 3 seed out of the Central, and Arkansas High is the 2 seed out of the South. That's why Arkansas High gets to play at home. As far as Maumelle is concerned, Norton said that they got good running backs and explosive receivers. So it's going to be a challenge with the Arkansas High defense and the Maumelle offense. I think it's going to be a back-and-forth game, and I really think it's going to go down to the very end, unless one team or the other, makes a lot of mistakes and turnovers and things like that. I look for it to be a very competitive game.
Arkansas takes the ball away. They don't give it away.
They do.
Every time I get these stats on Saturday, it was like I would love to know how many forced fumbles they have this year. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, Norton's over there, he must have a punching bag out there that they don't walk onto the field unless they're punching the ball. Something's up with that. And there is no other team that forces turnovers like they do.
Yeah, they really do force the turnovers, and that could be the difference. The big turnover towards the end of the fourth quarter could be the difference for Arkansas High. And as we were talking, I believe, earlier, if Arkansas High wins this game tonight against Maumelle, there's another game being played between Valley View, which is in the east, and Morrilton, which is in the west. If Morrilton upsets Valley View, and that could happen, because a lot of times, I'm not disparaging the teams from the east, but a lot of times the teams from the east can be a little overrated. If Morrilton upsets Valley View and Arkansas High wins tonight, playoff game number 2 would be right back at Razorback Stadium next week, and it's a viable possibility.
That's great. And I hope they do it.
That would be you telling me that would be great for them to be able to play at least 2 home games at home in the playoffs. So it's all on the line tonight. So this is an exciting time of year. And real quick, we don't have time to talk about all the area high school football games playoffs are concerned, but I do know that Hooks is taking on, is it Winsboro?
So I was at Hooks yesterday visiting with some of the players. They're taking on Winsboro. Winsboro is another great 4 seed, taking Hooks in that one. Paul Pewitt is playing in Pittsburgh, I believe, against Gordon Camden. Paul Pewitt's going to run away with that one. Went up and visited Foreman Tuesday, the Foreman Gators. Number 2 in the state, 10-0, first time in like 50 years, or 10-0. Talked to Coach for a little bit, and he was excited about this season, and if they win tonight, the couple things work out, we may see game day in Foreman next week.
All right, how about that?
Yeah.
So it's going to be exciting, and I know that the Hooks and Winsboro game is interesting because Coach Blake Worley, that was with the Pleasant Grove Hawks, he is now an assistant coach, and I believe he's the head baseball coach, but he's an assistant coach on the football team over there in Winsboro. And so I like to see him do good. And of course, we want Hooks to do good because it's practically Texarkana.
Speaking of Hooks, Birdwell, his son, I went up to a Little League game and saw his son play. Didn't know it was his son until later. Real deal. He's like 11, 12 years old maybe, and I mean throwing the ball around like he's freaking Brett Favre. I'm telling you,
he's gonna
he is the best.
We'll be watching for him.
11, 12. I don't know how old he is. He's between 10 and 12 years old. He is the best 10, 12-year-old quarterback I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
I'm telling you right now. Wait till this kid grows up. And his dad's a head coach. I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to seeing this kid grow up, man.
And one more thing before we end it, I just want to mention this. It was big in the sports news over the past day or so, and I'm so happy to hear it for him. Such a great young man. But a big signing from with Arkansas, University of Arkansas, from the Pleasant Grove baseball team, Jackson Cobb, saying that he's going to be going to the University of Arkansas to continue his baseball career.
Very excited for Jackson Cobb. He's one of my favorite kids in the community. Yes, he's a very, very good kid. We're actually doing our first game day feature on Jackson Cobb. It'll come out this afternoon.
Okay, good.
And it's about his decision to go to University of Arkansas, and be looking for a lot of these to come out. We're taking game day in a different direction. I like the direction it's going, but it's missing something. So made the decision. We're gonna point it. We're gonna point the boat in a different direction, and we'll sail it over this way and see what happens.
All right. Well,
so be looking for those features to come out soon. We have that. We have Carly over at New Boston, just signed with the University of Texas softball. We'll have her. You're going to start seeing a lot of these players featured versus talked about.
That's great. And I'm a big Jackson Cobb fan. Known him for a long time because he's the same age as my kid, and great young man. Got great parents. And couldn't happen to a better guy, and he is one heck of a baseball player, and look for big things out of him as he goes to the University of Arkansas.
We actually have one more. Trinity Christian? Trinity Christian had a pole vaulter at University of Arkansas. Evidently, he was the #1 pole vaulter in the country. He's right here in Texarkana.
Ever do any pole vaulting?
No, it'd probably break the stick.
Yeah,
I'll make one big enough for me.
I'm a little scared of that myself, but congratulations to all those athletes. But good luck to all the area high school football teams. Get out and support your favorite team in the playoffs tonight. Morgan, thanks for joining us. Good luck tonight on your game day.
Thank you. Good luck over at Arkansas High. Be sure to send me you're our insider.
Yeah, I'll be giving
I need you to do better on sending me stuff.
Scoring updates throughout the night. But get out and support your favorite team. Good luck to the teams, and we'll talk to you next week on the Pigskin Report on 103.9, 98.5, mypigradio.com, brought to you by Investment Housing and Texarkana Game Day.
Texarkana Game Day doing another first, our very first playoff game here at Pleasant Grove Stadium. Pleasant Grove against Community. First ever home playoff game at Pleasant Grove. Exciting night here. What do you think about it?
Very exciting. I mean, the buzz has been around the school all week and the community. I mean, we've already got students on the front row here posted up ready for kickoff an hour and a half before the game starts. And I promise you they'll be fired up here in just a little bit. They've done it all year long.
What a lucky coin flip.
I don't think they don't do coin flips anymore, do they?
Zip codes.
They do zip codes now. It's a very interesting the way that works. We could spend a whole segment just talking about the way things are flipped.
I'll tell y'all, we're FaceTiming this from now on.
So
if I'm the other coach,
it's pretty cool though. It is a cool way things are done in Texas now. You don't have to drive and meet an Easy Mart or a Shell station at 1 a.m. on a Saturday morning.
Yeah. Or a truck stop like we did with Odessa Permian back in the day.
So, but it is an exciting night. First ever home playoff game in the history of Hawk Stadium and Pleasant Grove. So excited to be here. The buzz has been around. Excited. It's just fun. It's good. It's great. It's nice and cold. It's not too cold, but it's cold. It's playoff weather. It's finally we're talking about it's the third season now. You have preseason, district, and now playoffs. So, but just real quick before we go, I know you'll probably mention this, but the school we're planning out in Community High School have had a very tragic couple of weeks there. Yeah. I've spoken to their principal a few times this week. He's a super guy, nice guy. I'm going to meet him here in just a few minutes. But we've been just sending our thoughts and prayers to them this week in their school as they work through this difficult time. But we're glad to welcome them to Pleasant Grove tonight.
Yeah, very bad tragedy.
I wanted to mention their names. It was Marilyn Dominguez, Jordan Kidd, Cicely Lackey, and Andrew Miller. We just want to send our thoughts and prayers to their families.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
Bad deal anytime you hear something like that happen.
It's bad. But, what's been so cool, though, when I've talked to the principal and spoken to him, he has shared with me how all the other schools in that DFW area and the Metroplex area had just over-supported them in so many ways. They've sent counselors, teachers, I could go on and on about it. Things he shared with me, it would warm my heart. And it's just so how, in education, we are in this is the kid business.
Yeah.
We're all in this together. And when one of us hurts, we all hurt. So we just represent and just how they just represented our education in Texas, just wrapping our arms around this school. But he shared so many things, just blessed me, and they were so blessed from all the support they've received from the school.
That's what I asked Morgan if you guys were doing anything for him, but when I got here, I saw those banners.
Yes.
And I thought that was a great thing.
And the cheerleaders are going to be collecting donations for the families. I just can't imagine what the families are going through right now.
Guys, having 5 kids, that's a nightmare. I hate seeing that, and it's a testament to their community. So
we're excited though they're coming here, and we're going to love on this community and have a good night of football, and it'll be fun tonight, it'll be special. But we're going. It's just
I don't know if you checked out their buses rolling in. They got a 18-wheeler for the band that is 100% legit.
That is. I was on the phone when I pulled up, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is the nicest school 18-wheeler truck I think I've ever seen.
Did you see?
And that is awesome.
Did you happen to see at the back of that bus? It had the horses in the back.
Did it really?
Painted on the side.
The horses in the back?
Yeah,
that is awesome.
Painted in the back.
That was pretty cool. It's right there. The whole thing is just sported out, and how cool that is. That is. I've never seen. I've been to many playoff games and from many different schools, and I've never seen an 18-wheeler looking like that.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. I don't know if I've ever seen that either.
That's awesome. I got kind of fired up when I saw it. I'm not gonna lie. So.
Well, so community had to win to get in last week.
Yes, they did. They played Dallas Roosevelt last week, a win in your in scenario. It's a close football game. It was at Community High School. And I think it was a very close game. Most of the game, I think, back and forth, and then Community ended up pulling away in the fourth quarter and won convincingly. So,
does any of y'all know are they a running team or a throwing team?
They're definitely a running team. They run the eye. One thing that I did get some information today. Their number one wide receiver went out in game 4 and already had 382 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns. So tonight is his comeback game. So that may be a little different wrinkle than what we've been able to see on film. So it's going to be interesting how the Hawks are able to defend that. I'm sure all week long they've been getting ready to defend that run, but they may be passing a little bit more than what they have in the past 4 or 5 games.
One thing that I noticed when I was looking up some information on them is that they're a lot better home team than they are on the road. I think they were 1-4 on the road, so that definitely plays a part, into PG tonight.
And that's why you like that flip. It's good to be home.
That's right.
They put up a few points. I was looking at their schedule, and they put up a few points during the year.
Yeah, I think they're averaging right over 35 points a game.
Yeah.
Last week, I think they won over Roosevelt 53-38.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we all know, in playoff football, regular season records don't mean anything now. It's a 1-week season moving forward for everyone in the state. So it'll be a battle tonight. They'll be excited to get in the playoffs. We're excited to host the playoff games. There'll be a lot of energy and looking forward to just a great game, good, clean game tonight.
So running team against this defense has struggled this year, to say the least. Torrey Phillips, he in or he out tonight?
I don't even know, honestly.
Really? Okay.
I should know. I don't. I haven't.
Well, I guess we'll see if he's out there tonight. Torrey
I've heard both this week. So, I've heard different conversations. He was, and I've heard others he may not. He's doubtful, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll know. You asked me at 7:31, and I'll tell you.
Yeah, I heard that. Pleasant Grove tonight against this team. Looking at stats and players, Community looks like it's going to be a tough ball game for them to compete in tonight.
On paper, I'll take PG all day long.
Yeah.
But when it boils down to it, it's a bunch of teenage, boys playing heads up. Fumbles can happen, penalties can happen. It's
playoff
special
football.
Team.
Yeah,
I get it.
I mean, it comes down to this. You've played all season long for tonight.
Yeah.
And one of you has to go home.
And they've been through a lot, so I expect them to show up and play a really spirited football game tonight.
Yes, no doubt about it.
Yes.
No doubt about it.
Tony, what do you foresee tonight in this football game?
I just don't see PG going home early. I don't see them. I think they're the strongest team on this side. I think they're going to get out here, and I think they're going to run it down their throats. I think they're just going to business as usual.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I'm hoping we have starters set coming out second half would be ideal.
Yeah. That would be nice, I'm sure, and I'm sure Coach Gibson would agree with that.
Oh yeah. So we'll come back to this ball game a little later. Let's talk about some games that have already been played. I've been saying all year the 4 seed out of this district was going to beat Sunnyvale. Didn't quite pull it off, but 25-13 they beat Pittsburgh.
That was a lot closer game than what I really thought.
I mean, I've been saying, I literally, y'all go back and watch. I've been telling you our 4 seed can beat
I don't
Sunnyvale.
remember it. But
Yeah, you don't ever remember anything I call.
I was surprised by the score. I thought it was going to be a big.
I was surprised it was such a low-scoring game. Is what I was
Yeah.
so surprised about.
It's just a different caliber of football over here, evidently.
You know, it was a close game, like you mentioned. It was a lot closer than the score.
Right.
At one point, I looked that up, and it was 6-5 Pittsburgh. So I thought, am I watching
Baseball?
The Pittsburgh Pirates? Is it April or is it November? So, but yeah, like you said, it's a close game. Last year, our district cleans. Gilmer was the 4 seed last year, and they ended up winning to Sunnyvale and beat them convincingly the first round. So, you know, it was a close game. I'm like you. I knew Pittsburgh would match. I knew all our district was a very tough district, and I knew that any draw from our district in a playoff round would be a tough draw.
Right.
So.
Even when our district ain't having the strongest year, they're always still usually better than other districts.
Yes.
That's a tough district to make it in.
Yes, it is.
You know?
So you definitely, it's a well earned. You're 1 or 2 seed in this district. You can be proud of that.
So Sunnyvale will play the winner of Bullard and
Saletto.
Mahia. Was that right? Mahia.
Hey, yes.
This entire bracket down here. I mean, Gilmer won last night, 57-0
They didn't win.
over Farmersville.
They didn't win. They won.
Yeah, they won big time. I agree with that. 57-0 over Farmersville, and the team I'm kind of watching on the other side of the bracket is West Orange Stark. Evidently, everybody in that bracket played last night.
Oh, did they really? I haven't.
I'm here.
checked
Take
that
a look.
side
I
of
got
the
it for you.
bracket. Yeah, there you go. I'm glad you're on it. I'm not.
And whoever they're playing does not need to look forward to playing them. And they played a football game with a combined point score of 19 points.
Yeah.
And then they're about to go play West Orange Stark next week. You cannot be looking forward to that.
I will say I don't feel West Orange Stark is as good as they have been in the past years. You know, they got beat by the team that Gilmer beat 16-0, the 3A number 1. And, you know, then Gilmer turned around and blanked that same team that beat West Orange Stark. I mean, that don't always matter, but sometimes it does.
Yeah, and West Orange Stark is always talented. I mean, they played in 3 state championship games for a reason.
Yeah.
And lost
the first one against Gilmer.
The first one against Gilmer, that was a ball game. I remember watching it on TV, and it was a great game. And but you know, they're going to be there. They're good. They're as good as advertised. So them winning is no surprise. I'm looking at the schools now. It looks like all of the favorites won. Or I say favorite. There's no favorites, but I guess the higher seeds won. Jasper won. They won their district. Belleville, they won. They were the runner-up in there. They were the higher seed in that game. West Orange Stark obviously won, and then LaGrange was a third place team out of their district, and they beat a.
Oh, who do you got? West Orange Stark out of Jasper next week or week after?
Ask me next week. They got to win next week first.
Well,
you never know.
I think they're both going to win.
And here's the thing about the playoffs: there may be some teams that were on the cusp of barely making it in that first round.
Yes.
But you can guarantee that second round, it's going to be a lot closer games, and there may be some upsets in that round.
The deeper you go, it just depends. It's all about matchups. That's what's so cool about it. It's about matching up. But yeah, that West Orange Star Jasper game, potential matchup in a few weeks could be a potential for a very good one.
And Glen Rose played last night, and I have a feeling that's who we'll end up playing to get into the big game. So.
Yeah. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick commercial break. We'll come back, talk more about area games, and Texas High at Lufkin is going to kick off at 7 tonight. We'll cover that one right when we get back.
Find yourself in need of emergency care, come see us at Texarkana Emergency Center. We're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We are locally owned with board-certified physicians for all your emergencies. We accept all private insurance. At Texarkana Emergency Center, we have on-site lab, pharmacy, x-ray, ultrasound, and CT. Come see us at Texarkana Emergency Center. Real ER without the wait. The next generation of emergency care.
Beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful, handcrafted stone is our passion, and we ensure our customers receive the quality they deserve. We stand by our word, we stand by our products, services, and work that we do. Our team of experienced craftsmen and product experts have been perfecting their craft of fabricating and installing stone since 1998. Visit the Design Center at Red River Lumber to see the many beautiful stone options available for your next project.
A strong work ethic takes pride in a job well done. This is the kind of person you need. Express Employment Professionals can help because we understand what it takes to hire good people. It takes real people, real interviews. We find good people, matching the right skills for the right jobs. Express knows jobs. Get to know Express. Go to expresspros.com to find a location near you.
Empathetic.
We are back from Pleasant Grove Stadium. First home playoff game ever in this stadium for the Hawks. Exciting night tonight, playing community tonight. But before we get into that, let's go to a game that's starting here at 7. Texas High is heading to Lufkin, kicking off here. Not even a 7:30 kickoff, a 7 o'clock kickoff. And Craig and I had the chance to sit down with Coach Stanford last night. He's kind of excited about the opportunity with his kids heading down there.
Well, if you look at the performance that Texas High had last Friday night, if they can duplicate that performance with these 6 interceptions, could have been 8 or 9, play really well in the secondary, they can have a chance in the game. It's just if they can put it together tonight.
Yeah, they've lost one game with Ryan Sellers at quarterback this year. It is a completely different football team when he's on the field.
I agree. I do think Lufkin's going to be a tall task. I think they're going to go in there and play their game. But I think Texas High, if they can control the line of scrimmage and play in the secondary like they did last week, I think they can beat anybody.
No joke, I think they may be one of the best 4 seeds in the state of Texas. I mean, one of the most dangerous 4 seeds in the state of Texas right now. Because when you look at the games they lost in district, they wouldn't. I don't think they would have beat Petite. I don't think that would have happened, if I'm being honest. They would have won those. They would have beat John Tyler. Because there's no way they go into John Tyler and don't score.
Well, you kind of throw a second-string quarterback to the Wolves. He comes in when you play sophomore. 3. Yeah, you come in playing 3 of the better teams in your district, and you've had a week worth of reps.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. The quarterback, he's senior, and he goes out there and gets to practice all summer. It's a lot easier to do.
And if Lufkin gets caught looking at the paper only, they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because their season on paper doesn't make them look like a strong team, but I doubt too many teams right now in their division want to step up. I think Texas High has hit the peak right when they needed to, and they've got some players back. And I've been so excited today just seeing how many people from Texas High and the Texarkana area are heading to Lufkin.
Yeah.
That was pretty impressive. I was out and about when I saw one of the caravan of parents drive by.
I just want to say a couple of things. What's going to be key for Texas High is they have to establish the run, and on the passes, Ryan Sellers has to complete the passes when he has those opportunities. Yeah. And last week at the game, I do want to say I saw about 4 of the Pleasant Grove Hawks over there supporting those guys.
Yeah, man, that was good.
I thought that was really awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah, I didn't see them there, but we had fans, Texas High fans, sending pictures in of them sitting in the stands, and that one picture had them cheering when Texas High scored. It's really nice to see that.
It is very awesome because it is now one Texarkana, going our separate, in our own respective playoff runs. And I'm like you. If you think Texas High is going to go down there afraid of Lufkin, they're not. I mean, there's a lot of pride in Lufkin, and they're going to be a tall task. There's no doubt, especially in Lufkin. But Texas High definitely will. There's a lot of pride there. When come playoff time, a lot of tradition that they're looking to reestablish, and they're going to go in there.
One of the biggest difference between Texas High to me, defense was good at the beginning of the year. To me, Ryan Seller's progression as the seasons went on, I think he's a lot better quarterback right now than where he started, and I think
there's
that's
a lot more
key.
from the week I met him to last night. There's so much more confidence in him. I'm excited for them tonight. I think this game is going to come down to fourth quarter, what happens at the fourth quarter. They're a dangerous 4 seed. I mean, they're playing a really good Lufkin football team, but this is the first week since week 2. Texas High is uninjured, has every starter on the field, and with every starter on the field, they've yet to lose.
That helps.
Yeah. And I'll tell you something else. If the winner of this game has a chance to win more playoff games. So if you look at the bracket, you would have a chance. I mean, Region 2 is always such a tough region at every level. Our 4A Division 2 and 4A Division 1 and 4A 5A. Region 2, this region is so tough. You could easily say every year that you would have a chance. You could easily predict that the Region 2 winner in every classification will play for or be in the state championship game or win the state championship game.
And I'm not a coach or player, so I could look forward. But can you imagine how awesome the week of Christmas would be if Texas High and Pleasant Grove both
playing football?
Both are still playing some
football. That would be very fun.
That'd be pretty sweet. That'd be a nice little story.
Be a huge win for this community.
I'd hope the games weren't close to the same time.
I don't know if they're on the same time or not, or what day, but when the days are. So. But again, I'm like you. It's going to be a tall task to go into Lufkin and win because they are as good as advertised. They're athletic, we all know. And a home game down there there's a lot of pride down there that Coach John Outlaw, going back to his time there as a head coach, and
I've seen some of the biggest upsets in state history, been present at them. So it can happen,
and a lot of them can happen in this round. That's the thing.
I was at the L.E. Gilmer game in 2006 with Will Middlebrooks and LaMichael James, and that was the best team Gilmer ever had. And Will and them sent them home.
A lot of bad things tend to happen when Tony Langford's around.
Yeah. We're going to have to let him leave here in just a few minutes.
The only opponent we're going to have on here, I believe, Texas High scrimmage Longview earlier in the season. They played a quarter. It was 14-14 at the end. Lufkin lost to Longview at Lufkin by a field goal. You still listen to Longview fans. They were getting cheated, though. They were lucky to walk out of there with a win. So they were getting cheated so bad. And anyway, so best of luck to Texas High and Razorback Billy Lavender. Our Texas High Insider is a huge Razorback fan. Go figure.
Yes, I know.
But hey, let's switch it over. Let's talk real quick. Another 7 o'clock kickoff. Now it's Arkansas High versus Maumelle. I don't know where Maumelle is. I never heard of it.
Near Little Rock.
Yeah, it's around Conway, Little Rock area. It's actually a very fast-growing, one of the fastest. I'm an Arkansas person. I'm from Arkansas, and I do know this, but I would be the only one to know. But Maumelle is one of the fastest-growing parts of the state of Arkansas. That area, Maumelle actually has exploded over the last probably 10 years.
It's the Frisco of Arkansas.
Yeah, right now. It was probably a 2A school 10 years ago, maybe. And I say that, but it was not what it is now. So it is exploding.
A lot of fancy trailers going in up there.
Yeah.
Let's do this on that one. We know Todd Marshall has to get to, I guess, the duties you get paid for.
Yeah, I actually have to go work now.
All right, well, come catch us halftime or postgame. Let's take a quick commercial break. We'll be back in 3 minutes. We'll talk about all the other area games, and Craig will pick who's going to win, and they'll probably lose.
Apologies, Arkansas.
I do like Arkansas.
If you're looking for authentic Cajun-style meats prepared and ready to cook and take home, look no further than Lanyard Specialty Meats. We here at Lanyard Specialty Meats select nothing but premium meats, and we season it to perfection so that you'll have all of Acadiana flavor here in your own home. Come by Lanyard Specialty Meats for all your tailgating needs for this football season or hunting season. Remember, Lanyard Specialty Meats.
Lanyards is an official sponsor and proud supporter of Texarkana Game Day.
It has got cold quick, fast, and in a hurry. We were talking about how it doesn't feel like it's that cold, and all of a sudden it is.
It ain't as cold as it's
What's up, Coach?
though.
Good luck tonight. Hey, man, you got 2 seconds?
Sure.
Yeah. I wanted to get you on all season.
I've been hiding.
Yeah.
You have. So, man, your defense playing lights out.
Yes, sir.
What's the key, man? I see all these. You get up here at 3:30 in the morning or something crazy. When do you sleep?
Well, when the season's over, that's when I catch up on my sleep. But our kids are playing really hard right now, and they're playing really well. And I feel like the last probably 3 or 4 weeks we've really gotten into a rhythm defensively. We've gotten some kids back healthy, and they just prepare every week, and it's been paying off.
Torrey Phillips playing tonight?
Yes, sir. He is. Went last Friday and got a little wart cut off his foot, and
I heard the story.
Yeah, so he's doing better. He's recovered well. I didn't know if he'd be ready or if he'd even practice this week, and he came out Monday and had a really good day and had a really great week of practice, and so he's good to go.
You know, I had somebody ask me today or this morning. I was on a radio show, and somebody asked like, explain Pleasant Grove's defense. Like, how good are they? I was like, man, if you just look like player for player, like it's the way they scheme these players. Because you could put Landon, in my opinion, I'm not a football coach, but you could put Landon, let's say, on the ground, defensive line position, but the way y'all moved him off and literally are putting people in front of him, so it makes it tougher for them to get their hands on him. I'm assuming that's why y'all do it.
Yeah, well,
but not only him, even same thing with Nick. The way you're utilizing him and moving around, it's genius.
Well, we just want to, Landon, a lot of teams try to load up on him and try to get as many guys blocking him as they can. Yeah. So we want to move him around and keep offenses guessing on where he's going to be lined up. And sometimes they'll line up as a defensive end, sometimes they'll line up as a linebacker inside or outside. So we're just constantly trying to move him and Nick and get them in positions to go make plays because they can make a lot of plays.
Yeah. So what keeps you up at night? This guy sleeps like 2 or 3 hours a day. It's nuts.
Well, everything. Just at the end of the day, we just want to make sure we're not missing anything. No stone left unturned because, our kids deserve it. They deserve for us to be prepared as coaches so we can make sure they're prepared to go win every Friday night. So there's always something there. And plus every week we're playing really good teams with really good coaches that are prepared to play us. So we want to make sure that we're putting in that work.
That's great. You guys are facing nearly a 1,400-yard rusher. So what's going to be the key? Is it kind of like a bend, don't break, don't allow the big runs, because he's probably going to get some yards?
Yeah, no, he's a really good player, and he's a big kid, and he's explosive, and the quarterback's athletic too. So we want to try to get them pinned in before they get going down the field. Try to make some plays at the line of scrimmage or even behind the line of scrimmage, so they can't get out on the perimeter or get through the middle of our defense. Because once they get rolling, they're hard to catch.
Well, we know you got to get back to something. Let me ask you one question.
Sure.
What would make you happy tonight? What would make you leave here happy with your defense?
Well, at the end of the day, in the playoffs, a W. At the end of the day, that's all you want because it's do or die. And as long as you get that W and you're moving on to the next round, that's all that really matters. But, of course, we want to come out here and play hard and execute and have a good showing at home, which for probably the last home game of the year.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Coach, man, we'll let you back to it, brother.
Yes,
Thanks for stopping by and saying hi.
Yes,
good luck
sir.
tonight, man.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Hey, that guy's a real deal workaholic. Talk about somebody that works all the time.
But it shows. The defense comes out and performs, and that's
we came up here one morning. Aaron Whitehead and myself came up here. We got here at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's when we shot A Day in the Life, the State of Mind documentary, the way we started it. We're up here at 5 in the morning, and I think I got here around 4:45 because I didn't want to be late. Y'all know I don't like getting up early. And there's a car in the parking lot, and I assume it's Coach Gibson's. No. This guy had been up here like at 3 o'clock in the morning, done a 2-hour workout or something, and in there, had papers scattered everywhere. I was like, what are you doing? You know,
most great football coaches don't sleep much during the season.
Yeah, we're going back to August 15th. I think it was the exact day. Like, we're going way back, but evidently that's like his routine. You know, gets up early, stays up late. Evidently, you know, that's exactly who you don't want to face.
Well, the one thing that I love about Coach Fuller, it doesn't matter what the score is, he's coaching his players up. So I mean, it could be third quarter, games out of hand, fourth quarter, games out of hand, and he's still coaching those players. I mean, he's able to get everything he can out of those players, and they're willing to give it to him.
Yeah, he's a good guy, man.
He's fun to watch.
What I've noticed about him is he's always intense on the sideline.
Oh yeah, I love
always.
his intensity. Yeah,
super intense.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he really. I'm guilty of this as well in business. I like working with people I like. You know what I mean? And when you can choose who you work with, you know, and you look at Coach Gibson's staff, and I mean, it's a bunch of guys he grew up with and likes, but they're also the right guys.
Chemistry,
you know what
makes
I mean?
A big difference.
Oh, chemistry's huge.
Everything you do.
You know, Tony, you gonna hire a bunch of people you just don't want to work with?
Oh, they don't last long.
No, they don't ever last long. You know, you have guys that
don't last long.
I mean, hey, there's 35 years of friendship there, you know, and they're winners. You know, that's exciting. But we were way off schedule. I just saw him walk by, and I like Coach Fuller. Hey, so let's go to this game real quick. This Pewett's playing Corrigan Camden in Pittsburgh. Paul Pewitt has a beast running game. There's several people that picked them to go all the way to state. Nobody has them winning. Everybody's picked them to go all the way, though. Almost 4 out of 5 pickers.
Well, Pewitt has their team back. You know, a few weeks ago they had a couple of players that were out.
Yeah, their best player didn't play against Dangerfield. Right. I got to talk about it. Spring Hill's playing.
Caddo Mills, ain't it?
Yeah, playing in Van. I talked to Coach Levere earlier this week. Thinks it's a very winnable game for them. It'll be the first time Spring Hill has won a playoff game since your boy was in uniform. Hoping for a loss. No, I'm just kidding.
I will tell you, I think they're going to struggle with Caddo Mills a little bit. I think Caddo Mills got a heck of a football team. You know, they're going to have to come and have their A game.
And the winner of that game, pardon me, they already know who they're playing. It's Connolly won yesterday, so they know who they're playing against this next week.
But Spring Hill playing in such a tough district may help them out a little bit because they face some really good teams in the district.
Spring Hill's that team that can beat anybody. I mean, I think they can. I just think they're going to have to play a very good game.
I think Coach Levere wasn't really excited about – he didn't want it to be too cold. He wanted a 50s night. Yeah. Was really what he was hoping for. You know, and that the way they throw the ball around, we saw it here when they play. You know, it's probably not fair to say we saw it. They're playing against Pleasant Grove, but that quarterback was on his last life.
Yeah, he took some big hits on that guy.
But you know, we'll see what happens tonight. I mean, like I said, it's playoffs. Anything can happen. But you know, I'm not going to bet against them, you know. But let's look at this. Let's switch it way up here. I want to talk about hooks. Winsboro's playing hooks. We were out at hooks. All of us were out at hooks earlier this week. Shout out to Scooters providing the pizza.
That's going to be a good game, too.
Yeah,
that's two good football teams. That's going to be a good game.
Yeah, hooks. They got some really good players, really just great program right now. I really like their head coach, Birdwell.
No, Coach Birdwell has them playing well, and I look forward to them coming out with the W tonight. I do know one of the assistant coaches.
Blake Worley, ain't it?
That's
Birdwell told me to tell you hi.
And Blake Worley, he's quite the coach.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know that he'll have their side ready, but I just think Hooks is going to overmatch Winsboro coming in there.
I think their running game is going to be hard to contend with. They've got their quarterback can run the ball, their running back can run. I think Winsboro is going to to with that.
In cold nights, it's tough to play catch.
Oh yeah, we were tossing the ball around earlier. I was talking about us hurting my hand.
The quarterback isn't quite as accurate, and the receivers, they don't have feelings in their fingers.
Yeah.
So it makes it a little tough for that ball to stick in those gloves.
Well, one thing I can say about that Hooks team is Mason Vasquez is going to be prepared to play. He's a senior, and he's been a leader on that team for the past couple of years, and making the playoffs. I just can't see him going down easy tonight.
Well, and I could tell just being around him this week, in that short amount of time that we were there, he was the leader of that team. And so it's pretty evident. So I think he's going to be able to wheel them through these playoffs and make a deep run for Hooks.
Yeah, switching off that, we'll come back to those games here in a minute. Let's go back to this Region 2 bracket real quick. Y'all got it? Man, I have Gilmer and PG playing for it. See who goes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't – I've sat here and looked. I've done research.
Wills Point and Fairfield cannot beat Gilmer.
No. Absolutely. No, I agree.
So I think you could probably go ahead and write Gilmer in. And, I can't see Connolly beating them. So I have a feeling we'll see Gilmer again.
I mean, you look at this bracket.
Gilmer PG.
You look at this bracket, I mean, I have PG Gilmer. I think I'm hoping Sunnyvale wins next week because I want to see what an undefeated team and, really, they played a soft schedule. Looks like against Pleasant Grove if they won by 12 points against Pittsburgh.
Mahia is a pretty decent team. I think that's who they're going to end up having to play. Bullard, I just don't think they'll be able to hang with them, and I think Sunnyvale will beat them pretty good. But barely beating Pittsburgh the way they did, I just don't think they're going to make it real deep.
No, I mean, I think, like we've talked about since, week 7, I think they're playing a different kind of football than is played out here. It's playoffs. I guess anything can happen, but that's who I have on that bracket. We'll see if we're right, but I bet you my bracket looks just like everybody else's. If I were to guess.
I was at PG office the other day. Principal had the exact same bracket, so.
Yeah, did he?
Yeah. I can guarantee you there's a lot of bracket watching going on.
Right.
Hey, shout out to Genoa Central.
Absolutely.
Playing a playoff game tonight. They're playing against somebody called Harding Academy. I guess our Arkansas guy's not here to tell us where that's at. I have no idea where that's at.
It's probably going to be a tough game for them because I think Harding Academy's 10-0.
Are they? Yeah. Well, hey, shout out to Genoa. What are they, 10 years into their football program?
Maybe 7.
7 years?
Yeah, 7, I think.
I think somebody told me this is the first group to come through the football program from 7th grade on.
I'm excited for them.
Yeah, shout out to them. Shout out for staying with it. I could assume that would have been easy to kind of do right there. So shout out to them. I don't think they come away with a W tonight. But, a lot of work goes into, 7 years of football.
Start somewhere.
Yeah.
Got to start somewhere.
And they're the team that built it from nothing all the way up. You
got to start somewhere, and there's a such thing as David and Goliath.
That's true. Temple is heading to Longview High School tonight.
Temple's going to pull it off. Biggest upset in the state.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
I'd love to see. I'd love to see the line on that one.
I would say it's about a 25, 30-point game there.
It ain't happening, Tony. Well, they're going to call him off early. This first round. Coach Gaines going to call him off early. It's like Bruce looking healthy. Yeah. I'm sorry, Coach. Hop on, man. My bad.
Morgan just got you over there sitting on.
Evidently, I'm just like flying through commercial breaks. Evidently, we have head coach Josh Gibson with us. It got cold quick. We were just talking about. It's nice, man.
Perfect football weather.
It is perfect football weather. Yeah, just not if you're passing the ball every down.
Right.
But I'd rather be warm. I kind of hate that I talk bad about it being so hot all year. Sweating it up out here, and now I'm like, I wish it was about 95 degrees.
Hey, I like this a lot better than 100-degree weather, man. To me, this is football weather.
This is an exciting time. It's an exciting time. First home playoff game ever. Thank you, Coach, for gambling on it and bringing it to us. We'd have followed you anywhere, but I'm glad we get to do it here.
Well, hopefully we're playing a few rounds, and if we are, we're most likely going to be traveling a lot, and so it's just a good opportunity to save a lot of money for our district, save a lot of money for their district too, because we're not renting and we'll split the gate 50-50, and then saves our community a lot of money. And a lot of times people don't think about that, but you have 1,000 people filling up gas tanks and going eating somewhere else. It costs a lot, and it'll cost a lot for a few weeks if we're winning. So it's awesome to be playing here. I mean, it's awesome for everybody. Our kids get one more game at a great stadium with a great fan base.
And from a fan's perspective, I'm willing to do 2 more loans to be able to pay for that. So you keep winning and I'll travel.
Yeah.
That's great, man. Coach, it's kind of a bittersweet week. It's a round 1 of playoffs. They've had some tragedy over on the other side of the field. I know you run a really classy program here, and tell us about some of the things. I'm seeing banners in a few places. Principal Marshall said a few things that they're doing.
Yep. We've got their locker room decorated with some vinyl posters, and my wife made them in CTE, and then all the football players signed them. Then Mr. Marshall got a lot of students to sign another one. They got here, and my wife had her cake balls, for their football staff. So she had a big message she wrote on top of it, and she handed that to them. And if you hadn't had her cake balls, you'll realize it's absolute gold what they're passing on. But just little things like that. Our cheerleaders are doing something and kind of passing a hat around and gonna send some donations over their way to help out. And they just had it tough. They had it tough last week, and then there's no way you don't get to put something like that to bed. But then it lingered into the next week because then they buried all 4 kids this week, and that's just hard on. It's hard on those kiddos. It's hard on their friends, their classmates, the families, and you just feel horrible for them because there's no other way to describe it than tragic. And then something most people don't know about their offensive coordinator's not even here tonight. His wife went into labor yesterday morning, and things kind of got turned sideways, and it's going into a bad moment, so they have to do a C-section like 12 hours later, and he's at the hospital with her today because he's not going to leave his bride and their newborn. I just think, they've had a lot going on.
Man, well, hats off to y'all for everything you're doing for me. Everything I've kind of been hearing all week, really, really showing a lot of class, a lot of character with your program. But as expected, man, tell me about this team. We healthy?
We're finally healthy. Outside of our 3 guys who can't play because of surgeries, everybody's healthy for the first time. And man, knock on wood, it stays that way for the first time since Tyler Chapel Hill. Yeah. And so it's going to be good to have them all back. It's going to be good to have them going back full speed together. And I think we're fired up. We had the off week when we did now. It took forever to get there, but it came at a good time for our program.
That's good, man.
I was glad to hear Connor got off his crutches this week.
That was fast. You had a great surgery. It was just the ACL that wasn't split. We talked about that. They reattached it to the bone. No MCL damage, and to be back on his feet as quick as he is. And doesn't have a big hitch in his giddy up. He's got a little bit of one, but man, that's pretty neat.
He said Quinn told me he's going to be ready like March, something like that. I mean, be ready to go full strength.
Yeah. We're really happy for him. Everything worked out well. He's got, we got a great ortho that works with all the athletes in Texarkana at all the schools, and Dr. Mitchell's. I mean, he's top notch, and he was fired up about how that surgery went.
That's great. I hope he get healed quick on that one.
How are your seniors taking this? Because they already played a game thinking it was their last home game, and then you guys win to play again here, so they got to be feeling good about having another home game.
Yeah, just such a bonus experience for them. The fact that we get to do it again one more time here, and then we're going to try to get them in some really good facilities after this, and you got to be proactive to do that. And so we're gunning for the places they want to play at. We always let them make the decision, and we try to look at a map, and you got to make sure it's right for all 4 opponents. So us and community, and then the 2 teams that we would face all had to agree. To get a good one, you have to agree. So I think next week would be a really great one, and then after that. We got some things on the radar, but you're working 8 teams out, so it could be anywhere and everywhere. But we've already got some feelers out on some stadiums, and hopefully have some really good experiences. But get one at home in front of your fans. They'd rather play here than anywhere, and that's the truth. So it's special for them.
Well, let me know. I've got a friend up in Dallas named Jerry. I can get you guys anywhere you want to be.
He's got a big playground, doesn't he?
Yeah. Really nice place.
You got good friends, man.
Well, I mean, he's on salary for $15 million a year, so he's hanging out with the rich guy.
You got to pay the talent. But I think it's for my looks.
Coach, so playoffs, are there things that we've been watching all season? Are we going to see some things that we haven't seen? Round 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, I think things will start to come out. That we've been working on for a long time. That always happens. You get to this point of the season, and all your basics, the kids are so good at running them. So you start adding wrinkles and try to figure out what your tendencies are and go against tendency breakers and all that stuff. And and it's fun. It gets fun to call a game. It gets fun to cross your fingers and see if it works, what you've been working on. And I think we'll start getting to some of that.
Let me put a bug in your ear. Here's what I want to see. Landon on one side, Marcus on another, Torrey Phillips at fullback, Bruce right here, Nick Martin behind Burris, and Logan Johnson on the other side. I don't even know if that's a legal formation, but we need to figure out a way to make this work.
You literally just jumped in with everybody in those seats up there. I get a lot of those opinions each week. And
well, evidently it's popular.
Yeah.
My wish would be a little simpler. Let me see 22 get some game.
He's a good one.
Yeah, I got to see my hype man get in there.
He might make his debut tonight, baby.
Yeah.
I hope he does. He's a good kid that deserves it.
Yeah.
So, Coach, we were talking about this earlier. We've kind of seen it all season. Running teams come out, try to run the ball against you, and then they get into that point where, hey, they got to start throwing the ball around a little bit. Who do we need to be looking for in the secondary tonight?
You know, I think all of them have to play well, because you saw us in that first drive of the LE game. We gave up a big play, and if there's a breakdown, they're gonna take advantage of it. And so all of them have to play well. We got to get pressure up front, which we're usually good at doing. But Dermot's had some big games. Sergio is in there. Javen Daniels at the corner positions, and then KJ's back healthy this week, so he's really good against the run. He's a head buster, and he can play. He can run back there too, though. And so we're lucky to have him back. And then LeGrand has forced some turnovers here lately. We need them all to do it, or I think they'll find a hole if we don't.
Is Porsche back?
He's not. We're not going to get Josh back, for a long time, and we would have to play a really long time for him to come back.
Somebody told me, I thought he had a broke leg.
Yeah.
Okay. So, somebody's like, well, they're expecting him back this week. I was like, didn't he just break his leg like a month ago?
He had a surgery where they actually put a plate and some screws in there, and after that week 6, and it's about an 8-week progress deal.
Okay.
So
right.
if for some way we could play as long as we did last year, he would get a couple of games.
That'd be great for y'all and him. I hope that happens.
Well, I'm looking forward to tonight, Coach, and especially those new wrinkles we may start seeing.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It's going to be a fun game. We're fired up. Everybody's fired up to be playing at this time of year, so kids know they're blessed, and then even more blessed to be doing it at home.
We're going to have a camera on you all night tonight. Don't do anything crazy.
No, sir. Won't do that. I appreciate y'all.
Good luck tonight. We'll see you after the game. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. We'll talk more about these area games.
Go check them out. $20. Find yourself in need of emergency care, come see us at Texarkana Emergency Center. We're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We are locally owned with board-certified physicians for all your emergencies. We accept all private insurance. At Texarkana Emergency Center, we have on-site lab, pharmacy, x-ray, ultrasound, and CT. Come see us at Texarkana Emergency Center. Real ER without the wait. The next generation of emergency care.
Beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful, handcrafted stone is our passion, and we ensure our customers receive the quality they deserve. We stand by our word, we stand by our products, services, and work that we do. Our team of experienced craftsmen and product experts have been perfecting the craft of fabricating and installing stone since 1998. Visit the Design Center at Red River Lumber to see the many beautiful stone options available for your next project.
A strong work ethic takes pride in a job well done. This is the kind of person you need. Express Employment Professionals can help because we understand what it takes to hire good people. It takes real people, real interviews. We find good people, matching the right skills for the right jobs. Express knows jobs. Get to know Express. Go to expresspros.com to find a location near you.
We're back. Players are warming up on the field. Feels like a playoff game.
Oh, it does. You can just feel the energy. Watching these kids over there just tackling drills is fun.
It sounds a little louder tonight. Anything to do with this cold air? We started off tonight talking about, man, it just doesn't feel that cold, and now it is freezing.
It seems like, I don't know if it's because we've been out here so long or if the temperature's dropping.
I tell you, Monday through Thursday, or Saturday through Thursday, I'm just trying to get better. I get better like on Wednesday. Come out here on Friday, I'll be sick again tomorrow. It's just how it's been for me. Dr. Young's like, man, maybe you need to take a Friday off. I'm like, no.
Check your T cells.
Let's get back.
They may be low.
Let's get back into some of these games real quick. We talked. Athens is playing Carthage tonight. I see no road to victory.
I'm going
to go with Carthage.
Anybody want to go out on a limb right there?
No.
Not yet.
No.
Hey, we have about a little bit of time before we get started on guests, and we're going to cover some area games. But while we're sitting here and have a couple of minutes, what's up on this Myles Garrett thing last night? Where are you at on this?
Me?
Anybody, give me your opinion.
Here's the way I look at it. Go ahead, Tom.
Well, a lot of people saying the quarterback started it. He may have. That being said, you can't take someone's helmet off and hit them with it. I mean, you just.
I mean, that may be the case, but I have a photo where this guy has Myles Garrett, both fingers in his ear hole, trying to rip his helmet off.
I don't blame
And if
him
you're
for
going to pick a
reacting.
fight with Myles Garrett, I mean, come get some. You know what I mean? Like
Pouncey did go get some.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, hey, for the quarterback to try to start a fight with the defensive end, I mean, come on.
That's true.
Here's
Get
my
outta
take
here.
on it. When you're in the NFL, you represent that shield at all times. You've
He's
got a
heat of
player
the moment.
named
Heat of the
Vontaze
moment.
Burfict
Come on.
who gets paid to hit people. He got suspended 12 games for questionable hits, right? Myles Garrett takes a helmet off somebody and hits him over the head with it. That's totally unacceptable.
I mean,
You can't do that.
Wildly
disgusting.
swung. I mean, come on. It was heat of the moment kind of thing. Yeah, he shouldn't have hit the guy in the head with it, but there's blame on both sides for that.
Oh, absolutely. But
if the quarterback would have hit him in the head with it, would he would have got suspended for the entire season?
I'm gonna make
No.
I mean, so if he hit him in the thigh, it's okay.
in the head's more serious.
No,
though.
you can't
That's
hit him in
more
the head with a
serious.
helmet.
Like I said, if you and I are
He
having
was
a
getting
fight,
jumped and swung. And what's the quarterback doing running up to him anyway?
Oh, I agree.
mean, come on.
That wasn't smart.
here's what I have to say about Myles Garrett. You're playing a division rival. You got a win that you desperately needed. It's 8 seconds left in the game. How can you possibly get up that upset?
The quarterback had his hands inside of his helmet.
But he grabbed him and lifted him off the ground by his face mask and tore his helmet
Had to
off.
show him what time it was.
That's good.
being said, they're fighting for a playoff
Hey,
spot.
if you want to
Their
fight with
backs are
Myles
against the
Garrett,
wall.
don't cry foul when you get whooped.
Baker Mayfield said it best. We just can't have that.
I mean, I'm not saying. What I'm saying is that quarterback had as much blame. Myles Garrett shouldn't have hit him in the head with it.
You let the refs throw the flag, and the next play is when you get yours.
If he was so upset, why not drop the helmet and punch him in the face? That's still
He was
not
getting
as
jumped by
bad
two
as-
other guys, Craig.
No, he was not.
Not
Myles
at that
Garrett,
time.
yes, he was.
Not at that time,
the
he
offensive
was.
line was breaking it up.
He got kicked in the head.
He got kicked in the head
kicked in
after
the
he
head.
swung that helmet.
No, he didn't get kicked
Hey,
in the
listen.
head.
He did.
The
He
NFL.
hit the back of that guy's leg.
Hey,
He hit
they
that
may
guy's
have a
leg.
guy making decisions. Public opinion is what matters in NFL. The public decides what happens. If we'd have woke up today and let's just say a bunch of me would have been on the radio, oh man, what's the quarterback doing trying to rip his helmet off? Because I've tried to look at both sides. I bet you he doesn't get suspended the rest of the season. But since you have a bunch of guys, can't be swinging your helmet, which I agree with. But at the same point, if he would have missed, would he have got suspended?
Okay, so if me and you fight right here, and I grab this helmet and hit you with it,
I mean,
You're
I'm
going
fire
home
you,
in cuffs.
But here's my point
So
being
do you
this.
not think I'm
if you
going to see the
swing,
prosecutor?
listen, if he'd have swung and missed, would anything have happened?
I think someone.
I think he
probably
would have been
be
he would
suspended.
have still
Probably
got
a
in
game.
trouble because he swung the helmet.
Glad y'all
But
said
not-
that. Go
not
look
like-
up what Aaron Donald did. Tell me why he's not out the rest of the season. Post game. Tell me why he's not out. It's exactly what happened. So
He didn't hit nobody.
yes, he did. He swung and missed, but you just said he still would have got suspended.
He would have got suspended for the pulling of the helmet anyway. That would have been a game or two.
What
at
I'm
least
saying is
anyway.
Aaron Donald did the same thing, but missed, and he didn't get suspended. So I'm just saying,
Well, I root for the Steelers, so I'm sort of biased anyway.
What made it worse was he hit him in the head.
Hey.
Yeah, you hit someone in the head. That's
hey, Tony, tell him, hey, if you're going to run up, be ready to get some.
Yeah, he did. I mean
I'll be honest.
wasn't a good decision, but you still, it's kind of a selfish decision, too.
Well,
because they're fighting for the playoffs right now. Their back's against the wall. They can't afford to lose not
these
another
guys
game.
are playing 120% and heat of the moment. I mean, and Rudolph to call him a coward after the game, like, what are you doing? You tried to rip his helmet off too. Like, what are you talking about? I'm sorry you can't beat up Myles Garrett. You know what I mean? Like, it's not his fault.
You're considered a professional athlete. Professional for a reason.
All right, well, hey, let's call Rudolph unprofessional then. Can we agree on that?
Definitely unprofessional.
All right, let's suspend him for the rest of the season.
Well, one thing I saw is the Rudolph, he reacted to what he calls, I guess, a late quarterback hit. Them were normal hits 5 years ago.
Exactly what
I did not think the Myles Garrett hit was bad.
Well, at that point in time, you just got your butt kicked by the Browns. He wanted to leave anyway, so he would have said any hit would have been late.
And here's the number one point out of all of it. The 49ers are the number one team in the NFL.
That loss this past weekend, though, you got to throw that out there.
Case closed.
Hey, let's talk about the luckiest team ever. Let's talk about Baylor. If they beat Oklahoma on some luck this week, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
If they beat Texas and OU,
Baylor needs to lose the next two games.
Oh, I don't think they'll beat either. But
they're so lucky.
Yeah,
it's like some of these ways
they
they're winning. I'm just like, you got to be kidding me.
I'm surprised at where they are. I thought they were going to be about a 500 team before the season started.
They've got a pretty good quarterback, though, so.
I don't know. We'll see. I guess we want them to win because we want a Big 12 to get in, Big 12 team to get in. That might be the only way. But, I mean, I can see them not getting in just because they're Baylor.
The coaches don't like
if Baylor beats both teams, they'll be in, man. I feel that way.
All right, so let's move on a little bit. Let's go back. If you're now joining us or joining us late, Pleasant Grove is playing community night. First ever home playoff game in Pleasant Grove Stadium. 5-5, is that correct?
Yes.
5-5 community. They got in late, had to win to get in last week. They've had some.
And this is the only time that they've made back-to-back playoff appearances as well.
Oh, I really didn't know that.
So their coach is new, so he's done a good job with this program.
Texas High is going to be kicking off here in about 5 minutes at Lufkin. Let's cover it real quick. I think they're the most dangerous 4 seed in 5A. I am hoping Lufkin's overlooking them. Lufkin's nasty, though. But I really do think if they were healthy and more than anything, they had their quarterback, I think they're a 2-loss team.
Lufkin's going to be hard to beat, but if they play like they did last week, I think they could pull up a victory against anybody.
Man, they looked amazing last week.
Yeah, they did.
The thing about them is you can go down their roster, and their roster stacks up with any other team in the district or the area or whatever.
And we've talked about everybody but their defensive backs. Their defensive backs are coming into this game with a little swag. I mean, they had a great game this past week. So, I mean,
I'll take credit for some of that motivation because I tell them, you don't get an interception, you're trash.
That's what he told me.
I told old Stonehands.
I'm a motivator.
I told Stonehands this week, I said, man, Caleb Arnold, my man drops interceptions like Craig eats McDonald's.
Well, that's why he's on defense.
But he's got to catch those this week. There cannot be anything come his way that he puts hands on. He cannot drop it tonight. If they want to win,
they've got to make
Caleb Arnold has to make every play. He's a pillar of that defense. If he drops those, they're not going to win. Clayton Smith has to play lights out, not only on defense, but on offense. They're going to run
steps in front of a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Clayton Smith, Kobe Webster, they're going to play both play wide receiver the entire game tonight. They are going to throw this ball around. Tracy Cooper, look for him to have another big night. I don't see him going over, let's say, maybe 150 on a great night. They are going to have to throw the ball to win tonight, and I know they can. That's the thing. Jalen's going to have a big game. Jack's going to have to – I mean, everybody's going to have to play lights out. I'm not going to say a perfect football game, but they could not drop these interceptions tonight. They're going to have to not put the football on the ground, not turn the ball over.
and hope Lufkins turns the ball over a couple times to get those extra possessions.
So basically, they're going to have to win in every aspect.
They are going to have to
offense, defense, special teams, limit the penalties, and just do their part.
They don't need a perfect football game, but when the opportunity arises for them, they have to take it.
I agree with you, Morgan. I think the secondary is key. Being on the sidelines last week and watching them swarm, man, if they can replicate that performance,
I think they're
it'll be a fun game.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're motivated.
As we've gotten to know them as the season goes on, I believe more and more in them every week. Getting to know them, I mean, they have some really high character players. I would love nothing more than for them to walk out of there with the win tonight.
Wouldn't it be great if we check the score later and they're up and winning that game?
Yeah. Well, we have our insider there, Razorback Billy, is out there. I've been waiting on some updates from him, but hadn't seen anything just yet. But they'll be kicking off here soon, along with Arkansas High versus Maumelle. I'm probably saying it wrong. Learned it's up around Little Rock. It has a high traffic area for manufactured homes, and it's a booming economy, according to Craig.
I didn't say that.
Well, let's not forget to talk about 10-0 Foreman.
I forgot. Yeah, I couldn't find them on there earlier.
They're going to play a home game against Mark Tree. I have a feeling by the end of the game it's going to be a Mark Tree. I think Foreman's going to take it to them, and they'll go into next week 11-0.
I was impressed with some of the kids, like the running back that's over there at Foreman. That kid is built. The lower half, I was telling Tony, I was like, check out those legs on it.
I was surprised by the size of the linemen for a small school. That's some pretty big old boys.
Yeah,
they've been eating some groceries.
Big Bubba. Well, what's funny? Bubba. I can't remember, but Bubba, talking to him a little bit. They're following game day, and they're learning, about these other players. And you have guys in there like, I have 40 pancakes on the season. Well, how do you think I would stack up to Clayton Smith or Landon Jackson? And it was kind of neat talking to those guys. I mean, we're their local sports thing, you know what I mean? And they're seeing us, and we may have something up our sleeve for them come next week. Get that W tonight. Get that W tonight.
I think once the season is over, we should put together like a game day all-star team.
Well, Craig,
not play a game, but just make a.
I've been working on a super team, the Texarkana super team. What would happen if we put these four schools together? We'd make every coach mad.
Be a national team then.
Yeah, we would have one heck of a super team.
Well, one thing about Texarkana, there's a lot of talent in this area.
Man, what's going on in Texarkana? Their economy must be booming.
It's at Red River.
How do they got freaking 8 4-star recruits on defense? What's going on? How are they? Hey, if that's your team, how do you figure out between Tory Blair, Bruce Garrett, and my man Tracy Cooper? How are you going to figure out who gets the ball?
Yeah, that'd be a loaded backfield.
Oh man, it'd be
three different kind of backs too.
I know. Yeah, how you gonna figure out how to utilize all of them?
Yeah. Could you imagine? Oh, but you left out the 2 backs at Liberty Island.
I know. I was Damian Henderson. Yeah.
Damian Henderson.
I mean, I don't even know. You can't even get everybody the ball.
Yeah.
You run it. Hey, you run into a Longview situation.
But that's been a thing that's always been said. It's so much talent, but we have so many high schools that it separates it all.
Yeah. Man, let's do this. Let's go to commercial real quick. We'll come back with Superintendent Chad Pirtle.
Which is the theme of all interscholastic events. The game will be conducted according to the rules of the university interscholastic.
If you're looking for authentic Cajun-style meats prepared and ready to cook and take home, look no further than Lanyard Specialty Meats. We here at Lanyard Specialty Meats select nothing but premium meats, and we season it to perfection so that you'll have all of Acadiana flavor here in your own home. Come by Lanyard Specialty Meats for all your tailgating needs for this football season or hunting season. Remember, Lanyard Specialty Meats.
Lanyards is an official sponsor and proud supporter of Texarkana Game Day.
We're with Chad Pirtle, Superintendent, Pleasant Grove High School, or Pleasant Grove School District, not high school, I apologize. Man, what a fun night. First year superintendent, well, first full year.
That's right.
And first home playoff game.
I think it's maybe the first home playoff game ever for Pleasant Grove, right? Yes, it is. And,
that's what I meant.
And, boy, we're really fortunate to be able to play here at home. You know, I think about our seniors, and they thought the last game was going to be their last game in front of the home crowd, but what a blessing it is to be able to come back out here and play on at Hawk Stadium one more time for those seniors.
Oh, man, it's an exciting time for them. Exciting time for the fans. I mean, I think Coach Gibson made a good point I hadn't considered. You know, you're traveling with 1,000, 1,500 fans, taking your money elsewhere. Think all the money it's going to save this community.
That's right. And you know, you think about it from, I guess, kind of a selfish perspective, but our booster clubs are down there selling concessions, and that money is going to help our programs. And anyway, just what the revenue staying here for people going and eating out at restaurants in Texarkana before the game.
Well, y'all been holding out on us all year with this food up here in the press box.
Not holding out on anything.
About last week.
Not holding out on anything.
We just found out about this last week.
They're holding out on them. I'm always up there.
Craig's been taking
You
me
just
up
got to
there
know
all
where to
season.
go.
I didn't know anything about it. Nobody ever told me anything
We
about
were
it.
sneaking up there.
Craig comes back with a 5-star meal. I'm like, which one did you go to? I thought they have nachos and hot dogs.
He started in week 1, man.
See?
I put on a lot of weight over here. So good job, guys. I appreciate it.
The Carpenters do a great job up there in the press box. It's a lot of fun. Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm going to get on him.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to get on him.
He didn't send you an invitation?
No, he didn't tell me nothing about it.
Y'all an invitation? Y'all got an invitation to the
Craig
press box,
somehow.
right?
And they start about 1:30 today, gathering all
You
that
know
food.
about you've been knowing about this all year.
We just went.
Yeah, see, I've been wondering where he's been going. He shows up post game
For years, huh?
Hey, we went up there. Jay was already there when we got
He
there.
ain't told us nothing about it.
He has to go call halftime.
That's right.
He leaves when this is over. He always disappears. We don't see him till the second it hits 0, he shows up, and we don't know where he's been or anything, but we can't ask him because we're live. And now I find out he's been holding out. Oh, you're the one.
Well, you know, got to do what you got to do.
I'm going to get you banned from up there somehow.
Speaking of our press box personnel, something that's really neat. You know, community had a tragedy last week, and they've decorated the press box for community, for the administrators and coaches that are going to be in there. Just to show a little love from Pleasant Grove to Community High School.
Man, tell us what else is going on in Pleasant Grove right now?
Well, some exciting things, really exciting things, game-changing things that happened this week. Actually, our 5th grade through 8th grade academic UIL teams went to Paris this week and won the district championship.
Wow.
And so I think this is the second year they've competed in academic UIL, and there's really been a focus, I know for sure, this school year to go win the district championship in our academic UIL. And they went over there. They were 70 points behind Paris after day 1. And I believe after day 2, the final day of the competition, they ended up winning by 170 points. So they really showed out on day 2, and we're really proud of that team and building that another winning tradition here in Pleasant Grove. Also, last night at the board meeting, we had our school board. We have an amazing school board, and they are so supportive of the things that we're doing and so supportive of the teachers. And they approved a technology package last night to outfit all of our teachers and our administrators with new laptops and accessories that go with that. There's a pretty big price tag on it, but I will tell you it's going to change how we do business in the Pleasant Grove Independent School District and give our teachers the resources, and there are some of the resources in technology to make it a game changer for us here and our students ultimately.
That's awesome. Looking out for your teachers. Winning state in What is it? What is your thing you say? Win state and treating your.
We're going to win state and taking care of our staff.
That's right. Yeah.
We're going to win the state championship and taking care of our staff, and we're going to do it. We're doing it. We're
That's
doing
great.
it.
I saw Jackson Cobb had a big week.
Oh man, isn't that special? I just talked to Jackson down there and then congratulated him, and I told him it shows what he has done. His athletic abilities and on and off the field, what he has done, the leader that he is. But to go down with a knee injury, and then he had one really good scholarship that he had, and then to have Arkansas, he's not fully recovered. To take it and say, no, we want that guy.
And that's his preferred destination.
Yeah,
that's where he wanted
We
to
did
go.
our first, we're starting a series. We like the way game day is going, but we're going to veer off a little bit to a new path. He's first student athlete we started with our feature film series. Talk a little bit about, I don't know if you get a chance, get on our page after we're done and watch it. It's Jackson Cobb, committed to University of Arkansas in baseball, one of the top programs in the entire country. And just to hear him talk about it, really great stuff. We're looking to bring more of that.
What really impressed me is on that video, they asked him, who does he give credit to? And the first thing he said was his coaches and, the people that's been around him playing baseball, and then his parents. So I thought that was really special.
That's big time. I'm telling you.
His recollection of his competitiveness against his sister is wrong. She was a better athlete than him when they were younger. But it was fun watching.
She might be now.
Well,
every time I look up, like, Georgia won this, Georgia won that. I'm like,
but no, it was fun watching them compete when they were younger. Because she had him by a few inches, and that often helped. But Jackson is a great kid, and he's going to excel well.
He's also going to get to go play with an ex-teammate, isn't he? Caleb Boland?
Yep.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm really happy for Jackson. We were talking about this week in the office. Coming out here, like August 15th, meeting everybody kind of for the first time and getting to know these kids. Like, we have some really great kids in this community. But, you kind of, I really, what I've known 2.5 months, I mean, just really, really good kids.
Yeah.
And, Jackson, I've got to spend a little bit more time with Jackson, primarily, sadly, because of his injury, because, can't really talk to the guys mid-game, but you talk to Jackson a little bit. And high-character kid, same way with his sister. I mean, his parents are doing a really good job raising their kids.
I'll tell you another thing, too. I've coached a lot of kids in my life in baseball. I had Jackson for a fall ball season. Probably the funniest kid I've ever coached. Yeah. He kept me laughing, man. He'd come around to third base after hitting a triple or something. He always had something crazy to say. Great.
Well, best of luck to Jackson. We'll have, just so everybody knows, signing day is coming up. There'll be a December early signing day, who I anticipate probably Bruce Garrett signs in with Brigham Young University. And then we'll have a February signing day will be, the main one for football. Let's do this. Let's listen into what we have going on here.
Experienced the tragic loss of 4 young lives. At this time, we would like to join in a moment of silence as we honor Marilyn Dominguez, Jordan Kidd, Cecily Lackey, and Andrew Miller. Pleasant Grove would like to extend our most sincere condolences to all of the families and to your entire community. And now we would like you all to join us in a prayer that will be led by Pleasant Grove student Emma Beck.
Dear Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to come together and play this game, and we ask for protection from injury on the field to everyone involved. We pray for your peace and comfort to our new friends at Community ISD as they mourn a tragic loss this month. May they know Hawk Nation is grieving with them and covers them with prayer. We also pray our actions and all we say brings glory to you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. You can be seated. If you would, we'd like you to direct your attention to the center of the field where representatives of both Nevada Community High School and Pleasant Grove High School are going to meet. Students representing Nevada High School are Danielle Buentello, Angie Yanez, Clancy Dunn, Andrea Solis, and Elliot Buchanan. In the spirit of friendship, Pleasant Grove wishes to extend to the students of the Nevada community a banner of support that is signed by PG students. The banner reads, "We fall, we break, we fail, but then we rise, we heal, and we overcome." The student body of Pleasant Grove offers their deepest sympathy and well wishes to the school and the families of Nevada community. We love you guys. In just a moment, we'll do the school songs, and then we'll progress with the rest of our evening together. God bless you.
Man, it's a classy move by Pleasant Grove right there.
Yeah.
I mean, hats off to them. Such a tough tragedy the community went through. Burying 4 kids this week. I just couldn't even imagine. I couldn't imagine.
I even have trouble talking about that.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I mean, I kind of get somewhat emotional, but I just love kids. And to see 4 kids, 15, 16 years old, lose their lives, it's just tragic.
Man, we're talking about just how tragic that entire thing is. Hate to see it, and we hate almost talking about it. It's so uncomfortable. I hate it for them, hate it for the parents, hate it for the children at the school. But community's in the playoffs. Second time in a row, first time ever.
First time ever.
That's great. That's great. Sorry we got off track a little while ago.
Well,
we're happy for Jackson Cobb. That's what it is. He's like a friend, so we want to talk about him. But basketball season.
Basketball season, yeah.
I'm excited for basketball season.
I'm really excited about basketball season. And our girls, I believe, are ranked in the top 10 right now. And our boys had a good weekend. And I think they're going to Longview to play in a tournament this weekend. I think we have some basketball players that are going to be out here too. Once we get after football season is over, we're going to have a pretty impressive boys basketball team rolling out there too.
Got something coming. We're going to be at the game Tuesday.
All right.
I'm excited about it. We're going to try. I need your approval. So you can't say no because we're on camera. We got a backboard camera for some high school basketball. Wow. It's going to be awesome.
Wow.
We got cable ties. It ain't going to go anywhere. Promise you. Well, I don't promise you. But we're going to have cable ties to keep it in place. So it shouldn't go anywhere.
Duct tape? No duct tape.
Can you guarantee that when Tori goes up for a dunk?
Now, when Tori goes up for a dunk, I don't know. Here's what I'm going to tell you.
Tori's not playing on Tuesday, so we're good.
Here's what I can promise you. I'm going to have about $4,500 up there behind that backboard. I don't need it to fall. It's not in my best interest for that to fall. That's what I'll say. All right? But, hey, we're going to get some really cool shots from him, and his kids are going to love it. We're going to take game day, totally different level with basketball. Yeah. So much more we can do. I'm really excited about it. The girls ranked in top 10. One of your players told me they have a big-time shot to win state in basketball this year.
I think both on the boys' side and the girls' side.
Yeah.
I mean, we're really excited about basketball season. And, anyway, look forward to seeing you there.
Where are y'all bad at? Bad. I know you can't answer. He was like, "Well, I'm gonna try. Let me think." No, I mean, I'm just joking. It seems like y'all are just really good at everything. Bands out here competing.
It is a testament of the people who work at Pleasant Grove ISD. It's a testament of our community and our parents and the supporters we have. It's a testament of our students, and
it's just a full tilt lifestyle.
It is full tilt lifestyle.
He says that full tilt life.
It is a full heart and soul,
right?
Heart and soul, full tilt all the way.
Well, at 6:30 tonight, an hour before kickoff, of course, everything was general admission, so the reserve seating was first come, first served. I was impressed. The middle section was about 85% full, about an hour before game time, and now the 2 side wings. I mean, they're basically about 80% full now. I mean, it's just impressive,
what Pleasant Grove does.
Community support that comes out here, and it just bleeds into the students, and just knowing that they've got that support.
You know what we got coming up? We got a little Pirtle coming up. who I happened to see. Me and Tony, you were here. We happened to see him in person. He's a baller.
Coach of the year, too.
Hey, I was about to say, hey, my man here likes to
won
win.
the championship.
His son had a game-saving, or what you call it, a tackle.
Oh, was that your son?
That was his son.
That was a heck of a
play. He's running out there picking up random kids. That's not a good look for a superintendent, picking up random kids.
Well, I mean,
swinging them up
the game-winning tackle, though.
Oh, man, how excited were you?
Well, I'm really proud of my son, but I'm proud of the team too, and just being able to be a part of the community, and just love those kids and teach those kids, and it's a lot of fun.
Man, if that team would have had an offensive coordinator, wouldn't have came down to the last play.
I will say, though, he covered a lot of ground to make that play, though. He really did.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
He was the offensive coordinator.
Thank you. Yeah,
hey, he really did cover a lot of ground.
Yeah, he did.
If you watch it on camera, he comes out of frame. Like, where'd this kid come from?
It was a lot of fun.
That was exciting.
Hey, you can tell he was competitive.
Hey, Fred, during that game, let me think. Yeah, no. They went down and scored, and Fred, I have him on camera like, walking down the field.
Now, do y'all run the wing tee or not yet?
No, we run the give the ball to the fast kid and go score.
Hey, it looks like KJ. It looks just like KJ out there. Run left, nothing there. Run back, nothing there. Run back. Man, I'm getting tired. Let's go upfield now.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun to watch. So my man's already got a championship. First year in.
First year here. He's got a ring before
Watch
the
out
season
for him. They were calling for Fred and him to replace offensive defensive coordinator at University of Arkansas.
I tried to get a couple of plays tonight with Coach Gibson, but he wouldn't let me have them.
I already told him.
Just the first quarter. Just the first quarter.
I told Coach Gibson earlier, I said, I got the formation everybody wants. Landon on one side, Marcus on the other, Torrey at fullback, Bruce behind him, Nick Martin over here, Logan Johnson over here. I don't know if it's legal, but you got to figure out a way to make it happen.
It'd be pretty hard to stop if you think about it.
I mean, that's how you'd have trouble stopping that.
Yeah, that'd be a tough matchup.
So next year when you're creating your offensive plan, you call me. I'd help you out a little bit.
Burris has showed he can move on the offensive side a few times.
Next year when I'm creating
wow.
when I'm creating the offensive plan, if I have Nick Martin and Landon and Marcus and those guys, Torrey, I'll be in a good offensive coordinator.
I saw y'all having so much fun. I think I'm going to start my own little team next year.
Yeah,
Walker's going to be 6 years old?
Oh,
I'll start our own little football team.
It's so worth it.
We're going to be throwing the ball around everywhere, though.
It's so much fun.
Hey, you want to know whose kid is a really good football player? Totally off subject. I'm sorry. This Hooks coach kid is the best 12-year-old quarterback I've ever seen in my life. I mean, he's throwing.
Coach Birdwell's son? Yeah.
He's out there throwing 40-yard passes. He's 12 years old. And I don't mean like throwing them up, like throwing just darts to him. Wow. I mean, it's crazy. We have a bunch of film on him. I'm like, whose kid is this? This kid is good.
I've seen
that
one other time.
And I find out it's Birdwell's son. Like, he's the best Little League football player I've ever seen.
Wow.
There was a kid that used to go here in the last name Raquel, and in Little League, they ran a spread offense at 12 years old. And it was fun to watch. I mean, they were out there throwing the ball all over the place.
When we left here, we went. We were at the PG Wild Milk Bowl. They call it all that. So we watched some Little League games here. Really exciting. We left here, went over to New Boston. They have all the small schools. They have an organization, play some Little League games. Took Landon with us. Man, I cannot say enough great things about what I saw in Landon that day.
He used up an entire marker.
Hey, he used an entire Sharpie's ink. I'm not joking. Literally ran out of ink on it. I mean, he was signing socks, not shocks. I'm so cold. Socks, shoes, bare arms. You know, I mean, these kids loved him.
I told Landon he better get used to that, though.
Oh yeah. And I say all that to say, Landon didn't have to spend his time with us that day. Yeah. You know, and he went out, and there were so many kids. He probably signed over 500 autographs. I bet you he took 250 pictures. He said no to nobody. We literally stayed there 2 hours longer than I told him, and everybody that wanted to talk to him got to talk to him.
I was surprised. Go ahead. Kid walked up to him. He got down on his knee and signed autographs, you know, signing their shoes and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, Landon, tell him take his shoe off. It's a lot easier. He's like, man, no. He got down there and signed. I thought that was awesome.
And I told him, I was like, man, that's a good-looking autograph, but you're going to speed this up. I'm going to need you to scribble a little bit. You know?
Well, we've used Landon as a babysitter, and he makes a great babysitter, too, for two boys.
You ain't worry about nobody taking your kids. Landon's a really good kid. man, I liked him and I respect him anyway. But luckily, man, I'm glad we had a photographer there. We got to bring him some photos to put up. And said, hey, man, this might not mean a lot to you right now, but I promise you it's going to 10 years from now. And he was like, Morgan, I know what it means to these kids, and you have no idea what it means to me. I mean, Landon's a really good kid. He's going to go on and do really great things.
Landy's got a great family.
Yeah.
I mean, got a family of athletes, really good people. It's easy to see where he gets it from.
Yeah.
So,
hey, I don't want us to come up here and not talk about Bruce Garrett. Bruce Garrett went to BYU. We had known he had been committed. One of his last official visit up to Brigham Young over the weekend. They did some really, really cool stuff with him. Man, shout out to him. Lifelong dream, playing college football. He'll do great things.
That photo looked really good. It just looked natural.
Well, y'all know blue's my favorite color. Blue looks good on everybody, except for people who like red.
He looks good.
I don't think they realize how good of a kid and player they're getting up there.
Oh, yeah. We've seen Bruce grow a lot this year, and just from his confidence and let's say interviews, when he sat down week 1 with us and everything was yes, no, and let's be honest, we're not really good at this either. It was tough. I was like, man, I don't know, man. Bruce is hard to interview, and now you look at him, if you look at him in some of the videos we do, and the way he talks about, he can tell you his feelings, this and that. Yeah. He's grown a ton in just the last 3 months.
No, he's matured, and he's going to be ready to make an impact with BYU first year. It's going to be fun to watch. And proud.
Yeah, that's right.
It's fun to watch these kids play on Saturday. It really is.
Yeah.
And earlier we were talking about at the Texas High game last week, we saw about 4 or 5 players from Pleasant Grove over there supporting the Tigers, and we thought that was really special.
That's great.
And I do have a scoring update. Lufkin did score first. There's 4:27 left in the first quarter of the Texas High Lufkin game.
So
before we move, I just want to say one thing. I'm so appreciative for Texarkana Game Day.
Oh, thank you, man.
And in your video this week, if you haven't seen that video, go watch Morgan's video on Texarkana Game Day. But if Morgan talks about doing it for the right reasons and highlighting the great things that are going on in the community, and it's exactly what you do and what Texarkana Game Day does. And you're just going to grow and grow and grow, because that's what people really want to hear are the great things in Texarkana. And so from a superintendent of a school district, and I'm not just speaking for Pleasant Grove, I know I'm speaking for Texas High and Liberty Ilo and Hooks, everybody around, that you're highlighting the best of what is in this area right here. That's our kids, and I just appreciate that so much.
I really appreciate you bringing that up. Game Day is literally an investment back in our community, and really these kids, the future leaders. If I was going to put my money anywhere,
it's getting loud in here.
It's getting loud. But if I was going to put my money anywhere, there is no better place than investing it back in your community. That's exactly what this is. It's the best. Hey, it's the best thing I've ever put money into, and I mean it. I mean, it's the absolute best thing. If I never see a dollar out of it, I don't care. I mean, we really enjoy doing this. But
man, we got players diving up in the stands, man. It's intense around here right now.
But, man, I appreciate you saying those nice words. But let's do this. We'll take a camera onto the field. We'll bring you up to kickoff. And go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hogs.
We'll see you at halftime.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Let's do it.
Thank you. Now, if you would, direct your attention towards the center of the field as the captains for both teams take the field for the coin toss. Captains for Nevada Community are number 5, Tyson Neighbors. Number 8, Parker Simpson. Number 33, Sean Outlaw. Number 61, Cannon Morrow. Captains for the Hawks, number 10, Ben Harmon. Number 40, Landon Jackson. Number 50, Torrey Phillips. Number 74, Cameron Weekly. Officials for the night are out of the East Texas chapter. Referee, Bruce Self. Umpire, Harold Slate. Head linesman, Gaston DeBerry. Line judge, Cody Holloway. Back judge, Clayton Farrell. The Hawks will receive.
All right, so let's take off and then let's go baseball.